Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay. Welcome back to the Stay Woke Show with Dr. Michelle Williams and Walter Dunn III, honey, where we are going to be bringing the aesthetics of what America and what criminal social justice reform is actually supposed to look like in our community. Walter, right at the top of our commercial break, you were talking and telling us briefly your story about what happened, how you did the good part of everything. But now, Walter, you got to get into this book. You got to get into this book real fast before we bring on Dr. Anthony Bobo Sr. You have got to tell them about this book. Let me tell you, I'm going to navigate through the criminal justice system. Look, if you got a homeboy, your baby daddy, your uncle, your auntie, somebody, your cousin, your cut buddy, if you got anybody in prison, you better go to walterdunn.com and get this book. I'm trying to told you, not tell you. I'm trying to told you. You need to go and purchase this book. Walter, you did an amazing thing. You would actually think, Walter, that you went to school for 4 years, 8 years, came out, got a degree in law, and the way you've written this book, this is like literally, Walter, navigating through the criminal justice system. The way you've written this book is foolproof. Like, a person cannot go wrong. Tell us why and what encouraged you to write this book for the community.
Well, first of all, as I was nearing the end of my prison sentence, as I was, about to go, I was doing legal work for people that was incarcerated. And, there was people at my book release party that even got on stage and spoke and said, Walt helped free me from prison as well. And it just dawned on me that so many of our children are going through the justice system, maybe first-time offenders, maybe second-time offender, and just don't know the law. There's people sitting in the 13th Judicial Circuit right now that's going to court on Monday.
Yeah.
That don't know the law, but guess what? They mama done cash that check to that attorney. Yes. They got the public defender trying to help them figure it out, and they just don't know how to navigate or don't know what's available to them, don't know what motions they can file on their behalf, how to get evidence examined properly, get charges reduced or dismissed. And it just dawned on me that I need to be the one to give them the blueprint. So I compiled a list of all the important documents that were freeing people from prison or changing their situation on the community control or house arrest, or things that real laws, real case laws, real things that can help people minimize the damage that they're in and come home and be free like I am. So what I did is I compiled a 116-page book on how to navigate through the criminal justice system. So the question really becomes, Michelle, is how much does it cost you not to know? Because you're gonna pay this lawyer $5-10 grand, and you could have bought the book for $52 and being able to almost probably do it yourself or keep the lawyer accountable.
Well, you got a phone call coming in.
Okay, well, let's
Caller, welcome to the Stay Woke Show. How can we help you?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Is this the Walter Dunn and Michelle show?
Yes, it is.
I'm calling about real change.
Well, this is where you're going to get it, and it starts here.
Well, I tell you, I'm a Tampa Bay community member. I'm in the 34% of our community that's been arrested in some way. And I tell you, I think that the bridge between the police and the community members is non-existent.
Well, you know what, caller, that's why we are back on the air. I've listened to a lot of the other radio stations and their hosts and the things that they have to say, and I'm not in the business of stirring up strife in our community, and that's the last thing that we need. We can't afford to have any more mudslinging and bad speaking about candidates and everything, because we're never going to get changed that way. Now it's time for us, the citizens, to draw out the blueprints. And, I'm welcoming you on board with Walter and myself, along with other leaders, to sit to the table. Let's sit to the table. Let's draw out the blueprint and tell our local elected officials and our state officials, and hey, this is what the blueprint looks like. Here's your carbon copy of it, and this is what we need you to do. We need your help, and we're asking that, we're the constituents. We got you elected, and hey, so if you're willing to do that, we're willing to welcome you on board. You can call into this show anytime.
Well, I tell you, I really feel that the bridge needs to be with getting some of the 34% in office. You know, we are electing these officials who talk about change, and then when they get in the office, there's no change. You know, I feel like someone who's lived a life and have gone through the justice system, someone who is familiar with it, not just from the standpoint of judging someone, needs to be in office. Someone who's been through that life and can also relate to the 34% of the Tampa Bay community members that have been arrested of some sort in this community. Florida, you know, I've done some research as well, and you know, Florida leads us in incarceration. You know, just in the United States alone, Florida is the high. We lock up more of our community members than anywhere else.
You know, I mean, I don't even interrupt you, caller, but you know, this is very true, and it's so crazy you say this because I just posted on my Facebook, you know, doing research that, you know, statistics show that if you want to have an effective system, you have to put somebody who has been formerly incarcerated in that position because they can give you the real deal. They can give you the end. I'm not going to go to a mechanic shop and ask for the person who builds concept for cars to come work on the car. I'm going to need somebody who's in the field who knows how to change an alternator or a radiator or to pull a head gasket apart. So we need somebody in there that knows how or have lived the experience. And I posted on my Facebook this week that I think, you know, we're moving forward just as a community as a whole, whether you're in the Tampa Bay community or you're somewhere else, that putting somebody who has been through the justice system on a board or in a elected official position will help us. And we got to get away from that stigma of you've been arrested or you've been incarcerated, we can't do anything with you. You know, it takes me back to a time, you know, where, you know, when there was segregation, and I explained this to somebody, and I'm gonna say it truthful because on the air we always gonna be truthful here.
That's right. That's right.
So think about this for a second, caller, and then we'll let you go in a minute. But when we had segregation in this country, in the 50s and before, in the 60s, before, you know, we started integrating, you could not eat at this restaurant or you could not sit on this bus because of the color of your skin. You had to go around back to get your food instead of being able to sit down like everybody else. So you was good enough to take our money then, but we couldn't sit with, you know, people who had a different shade of color than us. So what we did is we had a boycott. And then when you started taking the money away from people, people started to understand that, is it really that serious or is it really about the money? And now you fast forward and we still have segregation, maybe not in the form of racism, but we have segregation of you being a felon and you not being a felon. So there's two different classes of people. And we're never going to start catching people's attention until you take the money away. So when you say you don't want to hire me because I'm a felon or I've been through the justice system, well, I'm saying the solution is we're going to start spending money with you. So if you're saying call it 34%, and this is where you're going at, 34% of the population is where you're going at. I know that statistic. I'm a statistical man. There's 1.4 million people in the Tampa Bay community. 34% of that population got arrested last year. That's the number that you're alluding to. What if the 34% of that population start spending money with people who want to hire felons?
I say stop paying taxes. If we stop paying taxes, if felons stop paying taxes, if the felons in the state of Florida will stop paying taxes, we will cripple them to their knees and we will gain their attention, as you say.
Think about the recidivism number. You know, the mama says, you know what, I finally got my baby home. You know, I don't want him to go back to prison. We need to be able to get him a job. And he can't go work at a McDonald's or Walmart or wherever because they won't hire him because he's a felon. But that felon can go in there and buy that cheeseburger or go in the store and buy the clothes from Walmart, but they won't hire him. I say when you start taking the money.
Well, I got to tell you, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm in the 34%. I'm a convicted felon. I own my own business, and luckily I have something to come home to be able to do a skill that I've learned and have able to perfect and start a business with. And, you know, if I didn't have that, I would probably be in the recidivism rate going back in because there's no help for guys coming out of prison. And, you know, they talk about reentry and these different things, but, you know, we wouldn't have the recidivism rate if we were getting these guys prepared, you know, getting them out of addiction, making sure they're clean before they get out of prison, you know, making sure that these guys have a skill that they can go out and earn more than $10 an hour. And you guys think that they're going to be able to not sell drugs and be okay with making $10 or $12 an hour. with the mortgage rates and everything that's going on right now with inflation and in the economy, a guy getting out of prison can't live on $12 an hour unless he's living at his mom's house.
That's true.
And and if he's living at his mom's house, he's going to have self-esteem issues going into that. And there's just so much goes on and more in depth than just, can he make money and live? And yeah, well, we want this guy to be a productive citizen. We want him to have a good self-esteem and come out and feel good about the job that he's doing, not making $12 an hour, and living at his mom's house and trying to save every penny. And it takes him, 10 years to be able to finally save enough money to move out. It's crazy how much rent is these days. And I tell you something else. If we were able to prepare these guys with a skill, welding or whatever skill that we could help them do while they're in there, we don't provide enough of that. We have one reentry prison that I was aware of that was Polk CI, and they are not a reentry camp any longer. They stopped doing that.
Well,
so the funding.
I don't mean to cut you off, caller, but I listen. Today is day one. That we're on the air, and I can assure you that we're going to do our best to try to get with the Department of Corrections, which is Ricky Dixon. He is the secretary right now. You also have Pat Mahoney, who is like his right-hand man. We are definitely going to see what we can do as far as getting people released that are prepared, that they have a skill and can come out and feed themselves. It kind of reminds me of the parable, if you teach a man how to fish, that type of scenario. So we definitely hear your cries. I hear the energy coming from you, sir. I want to let you know I wish you the best. We will definitely, we're going to definitely go after people, and we're going to do it in a positive way. Like she said earlier, we're not here to tear you down. We're not here to try to throw mud on you. We're asking, can you hear us out? And we're going to provide you with a real solution for change, and that's what we stand for. That's what we're going after. So that way somebody in your family doesn't have to add to the statistics. We don't want the 34% to go up. We want the 34% to go down. And when you're speaking as a whole, I think the politicians, the mayor, Ms. Castor, and everybody else that cares about our community definitely wants to sit down with us and have a good conversation, but also hear a solution, and let's implement it. So we thank you for your time, sir. We appreciate you giving us a call. You were actually our first call on the show, sir, so we would definitely mark you down in history.
Thank
you. Sir, man. We appreciate you listening,
Michelle,
too.
Yes. Huh?
Michelle, one thing I wanted to add, I can appreciate his, overview of everything, but I really think that when we have these upcoming events that he was just talking about, to where we can learn how to bridge gaps with police and, different events that go around on Tampa Bay, where is it that we can maybe, and I was addressing you, Michelle, because maybe we could have you and, through your show and Walter's show to, post up like a bulletin of when we can actually go and, when we need a movement of people to come out and say, hey, look, we need to, whether we're boycotting something or if we're just trying to show a show of force and we need some people, some bodies out here, and, we're going to do, a community event. Maybe we could have a bulletin to where we could go online and look at these different events to where we could plan things and then start acting for some change. And maybe you guys could help us out with that, and that's something that we could look as a community member to, follow along and show up for things and have your voice heard.
Well, listen, I am so appreciative of this, and let me just give you this first-time caller.
First-time caller.
Hey.
So listen, I literally last night about 2 a.m. I was up creating our Stay Woke Facebook page. So we and unbeknownst to me, I wake up and there was like almost 100 people that already have followed the page, if not over 100 now. So I'm not sure how you came about, whether or not you're following me directly or Walter on his Facebook page, but always make sure that you subscribe to both of our notifications, because we are always going to be putting things on both of our social media platforms about Stay Woke, and we would love to be a part of that. But right now, my engineer is telling me we got to take another commercial break, and I love you so much.
Problem.
I love you so much. So just reach back to me and Walter today. I'll give out the phone numbers again for you to be able to do that. Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle. Y'all have a good day.
You too.
Sir. Yes, sir.
To all of you listening to In Touch News and Radio, we're going to take a quick, brief commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Gotta stay woke. Listen up to Dr. Michelle Williams show. You gotta stay woke. Listen up. Stay woke. Dr. Michelle Williams show. You gotta stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. gotta stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. You gotta stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. To Dr. Michelle Williams.
Nestled in the heart of West Tampa, the Maduro Marauder Cigar Lounge offers a wide variety of premium cigars from Esteli, Nicaragua. In addition, the lounge offers a relaxed environment for you to come back, lay, chill, and relax and smoke a great cigar. Visit us at our brick and mortar location, 1944 West Main Street, Tampa, as well as online, www.maduromarauders.com.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man. Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen or sundown. 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy stay by. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
When it comes to reality radio, everyone is a star.
I know that's right.
On your smooth soul and R&B station. On the World Wide Web.
Access granted.
In Touch Radio.
You gotta stay woke. Listen up. Stay woke. Dr. Michelle Williams show. You gotta stay woke. Listen up. Stay woke. Dr. Michelle Williams show. You gotta stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. You gotta stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. You gotta stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. The Dr. Michelle Williams show. You gotta stay woke.
Tampa Bay. Welcome back to Stay Woke. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Williams, and my co-host,
Walter Dunn. Nice to meet y'all.
I got to get Walter to stay inside of this microphone. He doesn't want to stay inside this microphone. I don't know what this problem is here.
I'm so comfortable right now. You know, I'm getting text messages. I'm seeing the Facebook Live stuff go off. I'm trying to respond to everybody. I'm just excited to be here.
Okay. I want to go ahead and put this out to everyone that's joining me in Zoom. Make sure that your phones are muted because our special guest, Dr. Anthony Bobo Sr., is going to come on, and I've invited him in to speak about the importance of mental health in our community and the effects that the coronavirus has left a lot of families not having the social support and not having the support that we need in the community, not having therapists inside of our community that look like us to listen to us as we have, that virus, that pandemic swept through our communities, leaving a lot of people who have lost their loved ones, people have lost their jobs. And Dr. Bobo, I welcome you to Stay Woke. You're our first guest. Thank you so much. Yes, we can hear you perfect. Yes, thank you. So, Dr. Bobo, so many people have reached out to me, especially mothers have reached out to me. And with them reaching out to my platform, the biggest thing is that, Miss Williams, who do I talk to? I lost my job. I can't feed my family. People lost their parents during this pandemic. But again, as I was doing my introduction of you being my distinguished guest today, we don't have any therapists in our community, especially any that look like us. So, one, you know, I don't want to tell everybody. I don't want to put all my cookies on the show the first time, but I'll tell you guys at a later show how Dr. Bobo and I know this man has watched me grow up, you know, into the 51-year-old woman that I am today. He's watched me grow up. So, Dr. Bobo, can you please just help us? Help us. Tell everybody how they can get in contact with you for private sessions and any platforms that you're going to be doing that we can participate in.
My preference is to speak to larger crowds. I try not to do therapy as much anymore. I take selected cases. But my primary specialty and field of experience is with children from 0 to 22. Of course, I do 0 to 90. But primarily, I do a lot of psychological evaluations with children and provide that to their parents, to agencies, schools, and things of that nature. So, you know, I'm willing to take on cases, but I would prefer speaking at general conferences, speaking with people there, giving them additional resources that they can utilize, persons that they can talk to, and things of that nature. So that being said, this whole thing about, and I'd rather talk about mental illness more so than mental health, because a lot of our people are really sick. And from my perspective, you talk about pandemic and families and parents and different things like that. The thing that I'm primarily concerned about is the impact all of this is having on our children. A lot of our children are under a lot of traumatic stress. And it's showing up in the schools, it's showing up in the community, and everywhere. And as your other host, as your co-host mentioned, in terms of the penal system and the prison pipeline and everything, a lot of people and children are being groomed for that system. During the pandemic, of course, there were a number of people and children who were attempting to learn at home, and that was an absolute disaster. So many of these children, as a result of the pandemic, have come back to the school environment, and whereas before they may have been a year or two behind, now it's 3 and 4 years behind. So it's really critical. And you know, those of us who are adults, we found different ways of dealing with our mental illnesses. You know, either through religion or drugs or sexual addiction, alcohol, or however we chose to deal with our mental illnesses. But today, I am more concerned about these children who are mentally ill. I'm going to give you an example. I was working in one district in South Florida. And the administrators and all of these other people sitting around the table trying to decide what they're going to do with this child. Now, the parents are separated. You know, they don't have, you know, a marriage situation, but they're not even together to co-parent. And this child, he's throwing erasers, he's throwing chairs, he's running the hallways and everything like that. And so they come to me and they say this child has some critical mental problems, and we need you to test him to see what's wrong with this boy. He can't sit still, he don't listen to nobody. So of course I take him in and I start to test the child. He sits with me for 2 hours. He can't sit with them for 5 minutes, he sits with me for 2 hours doing this testing. And when I finish, I find out that the child's IQ is 122. Now, normally, a average person's score is between 90 and 110. This child is 122. But nobody is looking at the classroom environment. I walked in that classroom one day and the children were swinging off the chandelier. Nobody's looking at the classroom environment. Nobody's looking at the relationship with the teacher. Nobody's giving consideration to his traumatic stress or any of those factors. And what they want me to support, which I'm not, what they want me to support is having this child placed in a special education category that's called emotional behavioral disorder. Most of those children never graduate. So if you have a child that you're going to label like that, and he's 122, what kind of chance are you going to give for him in the future to raise a family or to even be supportive of the family that he's in? That's just one case, but that's happening all over the country. And these children are not being treated. We know the parents are not being treated, but these children are not being treated. And we're going to be looking at an explosion of mental illness in the future. So that's just one example.
First of all, doctor, I just want to just jump in there for a second. You know, I love, if y'all could see him, I love the hat. I got to get my hat game on point like you, doc, you know. But I could not agree with you more on, you know, not doing enough for the child. You know, if you go to the normal dinner restaurant, you know, the children these days are just glued to the phone. So I can definitely see where you coming from when you say when they did the homeschooling, they're 2 and 3 years behind. Because I can't get a child to put the phone down. I know he's not taking class serious. So it's a difference from sitting in the classroom versus doing the distant learning at home. So
Yeah.
I definitely see where you're going from.
But these children don't have no jobs, so where they getting the phone from? They ain't got no job.
That's right.
And if they sitting at a dinner table on the phone, they're more than likely with an adult. So who's in charge? In a lot of cases, the children are, because the parents feel ineffective in terms of their parenting skills. And as I posted on Facebook earlier, we're getting so many men going into prison that there are less men on the street. And you got these boys, they're not listening to
They
mama. You know, they need an iron hand. And you know, mama got a velvet glove and everything, but they need an iron hand. And most of the men are not available to support them.
It's true. It's very true. You know, I could often remember, you know, when I went to prison, you know, I didn't have the ability to raise my children, but I took it upon myself to help raise somebody else's while I was in there, to be that mentor, to hold them accountable, to help, you know, raise them as I was raised. And now in society, you know, I come home, I'm heavily involved in our community. I definitely see what you're talking about. A lot of our fathers are locked up or they're incarcerated, and the children are just growing up by the streets, overpowering mama. They don't have that iron rod that you're speaking about that's going to keep them in line, that's going to keep them at home and not in the nightlife. I went to the gun violence rally with Senator Diane Hart, House of Representative Diane Hart, and that was the number one thing that was said. The children can't stay out the street past 12 o'clock. So we need to be doing a better job as a community of seeing and assessing where our children are at from an academic standpoint. Because like you said, this child has 120 IQ. He's borderline genius, but we don't push enough to his education. Instead, he's probably getting an education from the street, which will lead to incarceration.
No doubt. And getting the education at home too. If this child is coming to school throwing chairs, or if I had a child that was throwing a chair, he would not see the next day.
Woo! Yes, that's called.
How is that going to happen? How are children going to be able to act out like that in school, and there's no consequence except the school putting them out of school?
Well, we you know, and I hate to give, like I said before, you know, I'm definitely statistics, but you know, Florida leads the nation in sending juveniles to prison. You can Google it. It's statistic. It's facts that, you know, our youth right now in our community, especially in the state of Florida, sends the most juveniles to prison than any other state in the country. So this child that you're talking about, for example, has 120 IQ, who could be doing grateful things for our community, for himself, could be preparing himself for the next level for college. We won't invest in that, and instead he's going to do something or be put in a position to be compromised and then get an education or have his mind and his talents go to waste because he's incarcerated.
Right.
Something that Dr. Bobo said, everyone who knows me, and you've heard me say this dozens, and if not a few hundred times, I've said this, if not a few thousand times, that the separation of the black man from his family, it goes all the way back to the making of a slave in the Willie Lynch. Let's teach the black woman how to disenfranchise her black husband, her black lover, her black baby daddy, her black support from the home. And you, and no other race in this country this has happened to, except the black race. And this is why I have put myself in the right positions with people like Dr. Bobo, who we can bring on a larger platform, which we are going to bring on a larger platform, where we're going to have mothers to bring their young black female children and their young black little kings to this event, so we can say, we're here to help you solve these problems. Because social media is not therapy sessions for these children. There are some very baneful, dark, negative spirits that are loaming these streets. I call them the internet streets, where they're teaching our children the wrong thing. A child can hear another person on YouTube attest, oh, well, I'm going through this. My mom, she's just so mean to me. And, I'm just going to go in here and I'm just going to take me some cough syrup. And that's the thing right now. I don't see any white artists teaching their children how to mix cough syrup with grape soda or Sprite. This is only happening to and through our rap artists. So there has to be a level of accountability that has to come forth, not just from the household, but it has to come forth from the communities also. Look at the white mothers who have sued our black artists because they said that their child has got hooked on their music and now their child is acting like them. Why aren't we doing that? Why is it okay for us to listen to being called the whores and the female dogs and all of these other things? And how is it you teaching a child to choke somebody out in a rap song? But this is only happening in the black community. Again, this is the making of a slave. Let's show economics in front of them and just keep them disenfranchised. Because inside the black community, we are still with a wealth divide. You have the haves and the have-nots. Really. I mean, so I look forward to working with Dr. Bobo. I'm going to give him I got 1.1 million on TikTok now. I'm proud of that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to give him my whole entire platform.
That's great.
Well,
many of those artists are being paid to make that kind of music.
Yes, sir.
And many of them have said that they have been asked to sign contracts to make that kind of music, and also being given stock in the penal system, because prisons are on the stock market. So they're offering these rappers stock opportunities on their contracts along with the money that they're providing.
That's crazy.
And just like they did with Kanye West, they give, when they talk about I made millions and things like that, they're giving them these stock issues. They're giving them stock, not necessarily real money. And a lot of those stock are being or supporting penal systems. So you wonder why they are making that kind of music. They're making that kind of music to increase their personal wealth.
It's just crazy to even think about that somebody could be rapping a song about something streetwise, but hold stock in the prison system. Music definitely has influenced us since the beginning of time. But, like when you said earlier, you like to speak in front of bigger platforms. So do I. Because the bigger the audience, the bigger the catch. And it's about speakers like you and I, Dr. Bobo, that can reach people. I've read everything about you. I've got a chance to speak, offline with Michelle. And we got to find a way to continue to get you, myself, Michelle, and good leaders in front of bigger crowds, because we can start to break the monotony of what's going on in our society. People need to hear the real message. Just like the pastor, you go to some churches, they not hitting, but on some churches on Sundays, they hitting. They got the message going, and it's running through you, and it kind of takes a hold of your soul. And to be able to get in front of real groups where we could bring change, that's what we're about. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to find a way to continue to get you on bigger platforms so that way you can put the good message out to our families, our communities, our children, and get us on the right path.
Well, I will welcome that opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Well, I can tell you one thing. We have one huge event coming up, and Dr. Bobo, I'm asking you to, at a later date, take a look at your calendar because it's going to be this June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Yeah, that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that Friday, we're going to have the welcome committee. That Saturday will be the event. And then that Sunday is where I take everybody to the river. And, I have to call it like it is. We're going to have some coming to God moments. We got to give this country back to God. We have to give ourselves back to God because we've messed it up. And this is a conversation that I have with God every day. God, we've messed it up. And what do I need to do? What type of vessel do you need me to be to turn your lights back on? Because we've dimmed God lights, and right now social media has God looking like the devil and got Satan looking like he's an angel. Well, he once was, but when he fell, you know what I'm saying, and he forgot that. But he ain't gonna be bigger than the boss. So, but this is my second annual Breaking Generational Conference, Dr. Bobo. Last year, where we were just expecting, a handful of people, I had over 400 show up. People from all over the world came. I had I tell this story all the time. There was a young mother, just 24 years old, drove all the way from Memphis, Tennessee by herself because she said God told her to get to me. Wow. And her life she gives her testimony every time I'm on social media. She's in the comments telling everybody how when I took her to the river, how I made her wash her face, how I made her get in that river and give her burdens to God. It changed her life. She has her housing now. She was able to get out of her domestic violence situation. Things are going better for her and her children. So it's one soul at a time, and this is that's the topic. Breaking generational curses, because God says that if we don't break the curses, that our children and our children's children are going to continue to go through what we are going through. The reason why this country is in the wings that she's in is because we refuse to break these curses. We have a governor in the state of Florida right now, Ron DeSantis. I'll give him his official title, Governor Ron DeSantis. He wants to take everything that is right out of the college system. He doesn't want Black history to be taught because this has been a continual, uncomfortable conversation that white people refuse to address. So they don't want their children to know the wrong that they did to us. They want, I'm not Jesus, so I'm not in the Bible. So I tell people that all the time. I'm not in the Bible, so I'm going to say what I got to say. But I'm going to say it in the manner where I'm going to be able to turn somebody's heart and mind in a different direction, that we can no longer keep America's skirt up, because America's skirt is up over us and we're just sweeping everything. Everything is going under America's skirt, and all America is doing is covering up their dirty deeds. But God spoke it in the Bible. A dog will always return to his own vomit. So I'm gonna just leave it like that. But Dr. Bobo, I would love to have you as one of our panelist guests for the second annual conference, Breaking Generational Curses. There are going to be a few hundred people that are going to be there. I've already had to change the venue twice because of the RSVPs that have been coming in. And now I got politicians and U.S. Congress people. Well, I'm definitely bringing in Maxine Waters. That's Auntie. She got to come. Maxine Waters will be in the house this year, so Auntie is coming. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to stop. So she had me in 2019. I was on the panelists with Central Park 5. I was on with Dr. Yusuf Salaam and Corey Wise, and it was because of Maxine Waters seeing my activism, and she brought me up to Washington, D.C. at the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation event, and that was an honor. And I'm still in contact with Dr. Yusuf Salaam. I'm still in contact with Corey Wise, who just reached out to me because I told him I wanted to bring him on the show. He's just like, you want me in person or you want me on the phone? I'm like, look, if you could come in person, I want you in person. So I'm just looking forward to just bringing this platform and bringing like-minded minds together for us to continue the work of, I have to say God, because that's who I'm fashioning myself behind. And I tell everybody, the Bible has been my blueprint. And I don't know how people want me to, I don't know how people are going to take it, but I will go in there and I'm going to get me a scripture and I'm gonna tell you up with it. So.
Doc, Mr. Bobo, I just want to ask you one question for all our listeners out there. You know, I know you specialize in mental health. There's a lot of families that's listening this morning, you know, that have children in their household. Can you please, for us, before you leave today, can you maybe take a moment and speak on what are some of the signs that parents can look for if they think that their child or their children are suffering from mental health? Is there some type of maybe sign or some type of behavior that they're doing that a parent sees but can't identify it? You know, if my child is acting out or becoming combative or throwing the chair, as you said earlier, could you highlight some of the signs that a parent can identify that says, I think my child is going through mental health issues?
Well, the majority of them in the black community, as I said before, are under traumatic stress. So all of them are more than likely, particularly the boys, experiencing some form of mental decay. I would say for the boys, it is getting reports from the school about his behavior.
Okay.
You know, what is this boy doing? Is he doing his work? Is he turning in his work? What is his responses to his teachers? You know, these may seem like small things, but they're big in terms of the development of a child. Does he get along with his peers? Is he having peer conflict? Things of that nature. That kind of information you can get from the school. So I would suggest a parent stay very close in touch with their child's school and have a good relationship with that school. Because if you have a child that's acting out on anything else, the school will not bring any harm to a child where the parent is involved. Mm-hmm. If a parent is involved in that school, they're going to be very, very particular. You know, not just saying they're afraid of the parent, but they're going to be, they're going to be very particular about how they treat that child. And we don't have to just get involved from the negative side. You know, you can also be in the PTA and support the school, and the school then will go out of its way to provide you with information about how your child is doing in the school and the status of their mental health or mental illness. With the girls, you're probably going to notice if she is withdrawing a lot, if she's very emotional, teary, if she's talking about doing harm to herself, if you notice scratches on her arm, things of that nature. These are indications that the child's probably struggling mentally. The other thing, and I hate saying it right in this way, but it's kind of true. When those girls start talking about sexual things that a child of that age should not necessarily be talking about, but you never know, particularly in this day and age, and there's so much of it goes undercover, even though it's highlighted a lot. You never know what that child is experiencing, the female. You never know what she's experiencing in the community. And the mother needs to be very, very attentive to her girls, because it can, as you all have said, it can be dangerous in the street. So I would say that those things are indications of what a child may be struggling with, and parents need to pay very, very close attention.
Dr. Bobo, I wrote this down and I put it in quotations. A school will not abuse a child without a parent's involvement. And this has been the leading cause of the school to prison pipeline, where parents cannot be involved in their school age children's lives because their families are a paycheck away from poverty. The parents have to be at work and a mother can't afford to take off an hour to go handle a situation. But this is where people like us come into play. I remember from 2014 to 2019, I was an advocate by the Honorable Judge Lisa Campbell who had asked me to come and be like a line of defense and not let the state railroad these juveniles. So these kids, Dr. Bobo, I ain't know nothing about these children, but all I know is I had a love for children and a love for this community. So I'm in that courtroom. What you finna do? This is not finna go down. So it changed the way, you know, the presence. And, you know, Hillsborough County leads in the nation with the most black children in foster care that have been removed from their parents' homes for some of the smallest things. I can't wait to June get here. I'm so excited about it. I'm trying to, you know, get the Glacier brothers. You know, I'm a finesse David. You know, I'm gonna get him on board because if I want to use the old armory, because that would be beautiful. That's like right in the middle of East and West Tampa. That's right in the middle, and it's right along the bus line. It's right by the airport. It's centrally located, you know, minutes from downtown Tampa. So, you know, I'm going to be meeting with them before the end of the month. And I'm super excited about this. But we got to break these curses because a lot of these generational curses, a lot of people are holding on to stuff. And, you know, I got permission, you know what I'm saying, from my family to, you know, briefly talk about this. We have people in the family that are holding on to childhood molestation. And they're grown grandmothers with grandchildren and great grandchildren. But the molestation trauma is still plaguing them. And they're wondering why they can't love their husband the way they need to love them. And their husbands can't love the wives the way they need. Because guess what? Little boys get touched too. So Dr. Bobo.
See, I think God put family together for a reason. I mean, there is a practical purpose for family. And I don't care about the school, I don't care about the government, I don't care about the church, I don't care about the this or the that. God's primary purpose for developing people is family. So you said two things that I'd like to address. The first thing that you said was about parents not being available to go to their schools. You know, my mom was a single parent, rest in peace. If I had any problems at the school, she was a domestic worker. We know she didn't have a lot of money. But if I was acting out at that school, she gonna be there lickety split because education was important to her and my development was important to her. We need the money, but she knew she needed to be on the spot, and she was. And she also had enough control over me, though I was not a perfect child, of course. She had enough control over me that I knew that if she had to come to that school, that was gonna mean trouble for me. And she wasn't going up there arguing at the teachers and the principal. She was taking care of me and making sure I get on track. That was the first thing. The second thing, in terms of this sexual molestation, whether it's boy or girl, but most often we find, at least publicized, that it's happening with girls. The thing that I've learned in my experience, again coming back to family, is that the mother who needs to be the guardian of that girl, sometimes the child can experience that molestation and the mother does nothing, says nothing, supports the person, if it's the father or stepfather, whatever, supports that individual, I guess, because, you know, if we get rid of him, we can't eat. I don't know how that works. But I do know in my experience there have been many, many mothers. And I do know God was going through that, and the mother did nothing. And so a part of the trauma that child experiences is not only the violation from this male, but also the rejection from the mother. Now that's traumatic. And yes, it will last a lifetime unless you get some help. Yes, it will last a lifetime.
Kim, thank you for joining me. Can you mute your phone? We're getting feedback from you. We're getting feedback from you. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we're getting feedback from you. Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, Dr. Bobo, for the interruption.
That included my statement.
I'm sorry, Dr. Bobo, for the interruption.
Okay, we have to go to a commercial break real fast, and we'll be right back. And then we'll let Dr. Bobo tie it up and give his closing remarks and how people can find him and locate him and any literature that he has to share with everyone.
Gotta stay woke. Listen up. Stay woke. Dr. Michelle Williams Show. You gotta stay woke. Listen up. Stay woke. Dr. Michelle Williams Show. You gotta stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. You gotta stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke.
When it comes to reality radio, everyone is a star.
I know that's right.
On your smooth soul and R&B station. On the World Wide Web.
Access granted.
In Touch Radio.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
So believe we hunt it down. 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen of sundown. 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Hi, it's Angela Birdsong, and I want to recommend highly that if you're an attorney, that you get a quote for errors and omissions insurance from Sam Cohen at Attorneys First. He's had over 20 years of experience, and he knows how to work with attorneys. Call him at 727-799-4321.
Gotta stay woke. Listen up. To Dr. Michelle Williams Show. You gotta stay woke. Listen up. To Dr. Michelle Williams Show. You gotta stay woke.
All right, y'all. We definitely back on air. We appreciate that. We got to pay the bills around here, so we got to take some commercials. But, I want to tell Dr. Bobo that, we really appreciate his insight on giving us signs on how we can see if our children are experiencing mental health. Dr. Bobo, we appreciate that. So many parents are trying to work their 9 to 5s, trying to put food on the table, and maybe can't spend as much time because maybe they're in a one-parent household. But, you giving us real signs on, can we see if our child is depressed or, disengaged? That means a lot to us because we're hearing it from a professional, y'all. I could walk through the house all day, don't know if my child is doing good, doing bad, but, you giving us some real insight gives us a blueprint on how to engage with them. I definitely think, just taking some notes from you, I think we could probably try to see if we can get with our superintendent, because having the children fully invested, or having the parent fully invested in the child's education is where it's all at, because they spend majority of their time in school. So being able to go down to the school, or maybe we can get the parent conference night moved to a weekend where it can be accessible for most family members to get there, where we can sit down with teachers and ask them face to face, how's my child doing in your class? They're going to be the real ones to tell you he's disengaged, or she's disengaged, or she's worried about this, or I see acts of violence, or I see the marks on her hands, or, you know, we need to get more involved with our children. And I thank you for giving us that insight.
Well, let me just make this final comment. There was a time when my child was your child too.
Okay.
I can't make it to the school, but my neighbor can, and she gonna come back to me if I've given her permission to go there with the right information. There was a time we worked as a collective to be successful. Now, if I look at your child, I'm gonna give you an example. It's so funny. I was in Orlando the other day. I was checking into a hotel, and a woman had her child with her, this little boy, and it's an automatic door, and the child's hand got caught in the door. So of course I'm running over there to get the child's hand out of the door and everything, and the mother starts cussing at the hotel because her child gets his hand caught in the door. And my question is, ma'am, first of all, somebody saved your child from the damage in his hand, and second of all, what is he doing at the door in the first place?
This is true.
And so my point is this: there was a time we worked as a collective, and we could chastise other people's children. We could go to the mom and say, "This is what your child is doing," and the mom wouldn't cuss you out. They would say, "Thank you, sir, for bringing this to my attention. I will handle it." It's different today.
And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. You have just witnessed a live broadcast of one of the most insatiable men that I know in my life right now, and watched him from afar and watched his work, not only as a therapist. Okay, Dr. Bobo, I'm sorry, we have one call coming in. Good morning. Well, good afternoon now, caller. Welcome to Stay Woke. How can we help you?
My name is Jason Cash. I'm calling on behalf of Walter Dunn.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Cash?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man? I'm out here at an event in Tampa, downtown Tampa. We're feeding the homeless. We're clothing the homeless. Anybody who's in need, anybody less fortunate. You know, we're just trying to spread that love, man. Out here just trying to show love to the streets. You know, I think that's important. And,
what's the address? Where are you located at? What's the address?
I think it is, wait one second. Angelina, what's the address here? What park is 1301 North Morgan?
Okay, so anyone
Right
listening
here
in Tampa?
I mean, there's a lot of people out here, you know, a couple hundred people, a lot of different organizations got together to put this together. So, you know, it's a great event. And I just wanted to point out that my brother Walter Dunn, you know, he kind of helped instill this passion in me when I was when I had first met him. When it instilled me to be a leader and to seek out new things and to do new things and to help motivate and encourage other people, man. And so I'm just trying to that's what I'm trying to do, man. So Walt, man, I really appreciate you, man, and the knowledge and the love that you've given me, brother. So, you know, I'd like to see you out here at one of these events one day.
Well, definitely. You know, we gotta do a better job of making sure that we post all events so that way we can get the community involved. I want to say this: everybody needs to be told that they can accomplish anything. You know, no matter what you've been through, what adversity might have hit your way. You know, I got a chance to sit down with a professor this week, and she told me it's not about the storms we go through. It's about enjoying the moment of the storms that you go through, because they won't last forever. And in those storms, you'll continue to grow. You'll continue to learn. So that way you can learn to put the umbrella up the next time the storm comes. And I just thought it was it was a beautiful, the way she articulated. But, you know, when we go through things in life, we need to take note of it so it never happens again. But like in my situation, what happened to me and putting my books out, is to protect our children from it ever happening to them. You know, and I want to
That's
continue
right,
to put the
because,
umbrella
you know,
up for other families.
That's right. Or give them the umbrella and show them how to use it.
Right.
So, guys, if you're in the Tampa Bay area, we want you to go over right now to 1301 Morgan Street. That's downtown Tampa near the bus station, and join Cash over there, where they're having a huge event where they're feeding the homeless and handing out. That's my heart right there. You know, everyone has known me in this community as, you know, I've gotten arrested 11 times, put in handcuffs 22 times for feeding the homeless when it was against the law in the city of Tampa. So, you know, my battle wounds and battle scars, I love them, you know, and that's my heart right there. That is my heart. So, Cash, kudos to you, and we thank you for calling in.
Yes, the name of the organization is A1 Opportunities.
A1 Opportunities. Okay, we got it.
Yes.
So we'll give you a shout out.
All
okay.
right, Cash.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
You too. All right, bye-bye. So, guys, go over to 1301 East Morgan Street, Tampa, Florida, and look for A1 Opportunities and ask for Cash. Caller, welcome to Stay Woke.
Hello, how you doing?
Hi, I'm well, thank you.
Yes, hi, my name is Jacqueline, and just calling in. I've been listening to y'all. Mr. Walter Dunn, how y'all doing?
Hey, how you doing, Jacqueline? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just calling because I just wanted to tell you, I'm calling from Jacksonville. Just want to say that your book, I've been out here, you know, seeing people that they need help. I actually have a husband of mine that is incarcerated now, and, you know, I had heard about you, and we bought your book, and it's actually been helping him. So really appreciate everything that you're doing out here for our community.
Well, Jacqueline, I appreciate it. I mean, you know, surprised that, you know, the book is in Jacksonville, you know, when you go to
Stop playing, okay? we're not saying we're surprised about that book being anywhere.
That's true. That's true.
I'm trying to get this prison system.
The reason why I say that, because when they go buy the book from the website, you know, it goes through a process where I don't see where the books go. So it's not like I have the hands on it. Like, you know, I've heard there's been books been sent to Chicago and Michigan, but, you know, I just get that in the snippet. I don't ever get a chance to see the sale, purchase, and where it goes.
Okay,
so
got it.
But, you know, you're in Jacksonville, Duval County. Duval County is the second.
Right.
Duval County is the second leading county in the state of Florida that sends people to prison. So just to know that, you know, my book is out there, it's effective, it's a blueprint to help people minimize the damage and get out of the justice system. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that my book is able to help your family or your friends, and you know, for anybody who's experiencing any, you know, trouble with the justice system, you can go to my personal website, walterdunn.com. And you can read the book about my story, or you can buy the book on how to navigate through the criminal justice system, which is, if you want to pay the lawyer $5, $10, $15,000 and entrust in them, great. If you got it, great. But for the normal family who has, you know, bills, who can't really afford a lawyer, but you need somebody to put you on point on how to navigate, you can go and buy the book for $50. You know, and you have to ask yourself, how much does it cost you not to know? Would I rather spend the $50 and be able to hold the lawyer accountable and know what can be filed in my son or my daughter's case, or pay the lawyer $5, $10, $20,000 and end up with a plea deal or in prison?
And we thank you so much for supporting us all the way from Jacksonville, Duval County in the house. Yes. We thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
We thank you.
Take care, y'all. Take care.
Thank you. And we're going to go back real fast to Dr. Bobo, because I promised him that I was not going to hold him long, and I want to stand good on my promise that I'm already over my 30 minutes with him. So, Dr. Bobo, again, we thank you so much for tuning in with us, and we look forward to having you prayerfully as one of our panelists in the second annual Breaking Generational Conference here that's going to be based in Tampa, Florida. And guys, like I say, if anyone has any questions, you can text them to me, and I will make sure in confidentiality that they get directly to Dr. Bobo. Okay?
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. It's a blessing for me to be here and to be able to share some of the wisdom that God has given me over time.
Amen.
I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. I would like to encourage the parents like Mrs. Safari and others. If you have questions, if you give your name and how you can be contacted, To Dr. Williams, I'd be glad to be in touch with you and do what I can to support you individually.
Okay. And guys, there you have it. We're going to send our love to Dr. Bobo and thank him again for being on our first segment of Stay Woke. You guys can stay tuned in. We're going to just be a few more moments on the show as we wrap up because our engineer has to get prepared for the rest of the shows for the weekend and throughout the rest of the next week. Again, Dr. Bobo, thank you. It's been another honor to have you here. Not sure whether or not you're in town, but if you're in town, I see you in church tomorrow. See, I get him.
Praise him. Praise him.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. All right.
All right. Thank you, Doc.
Okay, guys, we're going to just continue on with the rest of the show for a few minutes. I just want to say thank you to my Zoom family, my godchildren that are on here, my huge supporters on Facebook, on social media, and to everyone out there. We thank you all so much for listening and staying tuned. And we're going to be bringing you great guests like we just had on. I know it's kind of hard to hear. We're going to work some things out. This is the first show. I see that, I can be cute and still be here 30 minutes early to get prepared for the show. So I got to start getting here at 10:30 instead of 10:45. So until I can get things under wrap, under control a little bit better. So we're just looking forward to your support. Looking forward to your support, and we're looking for small sponsors of the show. And I'm looking, like I say, I want to advertise, Walter, entrepreneurs on this show. I'm talking about the young Black men and women and who have their children where they're on the side of the road and they got those delicious food trucks that I stop by all the time. It's this one, she ain't even paying for this sponsor, but I got to give her a shout out. There's a sister right there on 34th.
Okay.
On 34th and 26th. Honey, I had some chicken wings and fries up there, boy. I almost wanted to go back and slap her and her mama. That food was so good. The food was so good. So, and that's what I want to have local support from everyone. I want to have local support from everyone, and I want to tell everybody because she's a dear friend of mine. Everybody, just know that the Black Business Bus Tour with Candy Lowe, it's coming up in April. Just follow her Facebook page, follow the Black Business Bus Tour group on social media, so you can, if you want to be a vendor, you want the buses to stop by your store, you need to go ahead and give Miss Candy a call and look her up. Like I say, her name is Candy Lowe, Lowe, and just have at it. And we have another caller coming in. Welcome, caller to Stay Woke. How can we help you?
Hey, how you doing? My name is Byron Thompson. I been hearing you guys since I'm working today, but I know Walter Dunn, right? And I was just so enthused, and I've been seeing him, doing his posts, and since he's been going through his walk, and Walter, you may not have known, man, but I went through the system myself, pretty much right after you did, right?
Okay.
And so I had a lot of things going on. I was, somebody forged my signature 32 times. I went through the system. I had to pay for lawyers. And like you said, it was hard for me to get any kind of employment. It took probably like 5 or 6 years before I can get my, information expunged and move forward as far as in life. But I just want to congratulate you and you guys on the radio and what you guys are doing. And my hat's off to you guys. I salute you.
Well,
thank you.
Well, Byron, we appreciate it. And, we're going to start making a way for people who have been through the system. And, we can't judge a book by its cover. I feel like if you're qualified to work in a position, you should at least be given the opportunity to apply and have an interview. A lot of the employers that I'm checking with, that I'm holding people accountable, I'm asking, why can't felons get the interview with you? They may impress you. They may be special. Their circumstance may be different. But, if they see that you're a felon on that application, you're not even getting an interview. And we got to do better starting with our Tampa Bay community. There's people out here that can hold a position, that can work hard and do a good job. And guess what? If you're the employer, if they don't do a good job, you're going to fire them like everybody else. So I just thank you for your resilience and not giving up or not going back, not contributing to the number of recidivism and proving to people right that, people who get released can't make it, because that's what they bet on. That's what their business is bet on, that we will put you back in the bed in prison and we will make $182 a day off of you for as long as that you're in there. But I'm going to do all that I can with Michelle on this show to bring awareness to our community, ask for change, and then go after it.
Well, you know, Walter, you just said something
so I'm rooting for you guys.
that just really, really sparked something, because guess what? Recidivism. We can do something about that.
We could do it.
We can do something about that. And we can do something about this $182 a day.
Oof.
Because, you know, the state of Florida is receiving almost $4 billion a year just to house inmates in prison. And I'm not sure whether or not anybody is aware of it, but when you go to the Coleman Federal Prison, there's a new prison being built right across the street from it.
It's true.
And I had to go up to Mount Dora, Florida, where I didn't even know it. I just so happened, and my GPS took me through, and I'm just like, wait a minute. I'm a black female, and I'm in this car by myself, and I'm going through Clan County, and I'm going through the prison. It ain't nothing but woods
Don't
and
stop.
alligators. Yeah.
Don't stop. Don't break down, please, Jesus. Let me make sure I got
was
gas.
just like, I looked at my gas tank to make sure I had a full tank of gas, so I didn't have to stop for nothing. I was just like, and so but I went up there to meet with a family who was going through, a crisis, and it was just
I
wonderful.
do see the claim that you guys started out doing.
Come again?
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry, I'm at work. Listen, I'm going to message you, Walter, man. I appreciate what you're doing. Continue doing what you guys are doing.
We thought you was talking to us.
Because, I know. I'm sorry. I'm working. I'm going to adjust it now. Yeah.
It's all right. Well, we respect you sliding away to try to make this call, and definitely hit me up on social media. Definitely hit Michelle. Stay in contact, Mr. Thomas.
Okay.
All right. Take care, brothers.
All right. Thank you. Okay, guys. We want to say again, thank you so much to everyone who has tuned in on intouchnews.com, who have tuned in on our Zoom, who have tuned in on our Facebook Live. I didn't go live on TikTok because that's a whole nother monster right there, because those, TikTok, I would have had a couple thousand people on it. But what I do have the ability to do is to share the link of the live. And I figured that out on my own because I'm self-teaching myself how to navigate on these internet streets.
You know what? Let me, I do a lot of the interview, and I let Michelle do a lot of the talking, and I just play my role and jump in. But Michelle, why don't you tell us, what is the reason why you came back to radio and what you hope to see come out of this platform? Give it to him now. Don't hold back. Now you tell me all this on the phone. Tell the people down there that's watching and listening what time it is, because we all trying to stay woke.
I came back to the radio because I'm tired of being sick and tired.
Ooh, sick and tired of being sick and tired.
And I'm tired of the nepotism. I'm tired of the corruption. I'm tired of the incarceration of the black man, woman, and child. I'm tired of the miseducation of the black man, woman, and child. I'm tired of the housing disenfranchisement. I'm tired of the predatory lending. I'm tired of the fact that the gentrification has hit and swept across our county and our city once again, pushing our black and brown communities into rural areas of town where there are food deserts. And even the federal laws of the United States government says that if gentrification has to take place because of a comprehensive plan, which is, let me quickly break this down to you all. A comprehensive plan is a plan where there are white people who sit at the table and says 25 years from now, we're going to demolish this area of town. And just like we see what's going on downtown Tampa, just like we've seen for the housing projects, just like we're seeing in East Tampa, just like we see that has swept through West Tampa. It's gentrification under a comprehensive plan. But there's nobody at the table that looks like us to write this in, that no, we're not going to tolerate this. So I know my voice, when they hear the Michelle Williams voice, they tremble. And I'm happy about that.
Action.
I'm not going to step down from that. So if they are fearful of my voice in person or at a community event, it's a whole different platform with a whole different monster. And I'm taking the bull by the horns this time. And I'm not letting go, because The truth has to get out about what has been happening to our community. We, I'm all about following the money and I'm all about doing all this. But guess what? We need to follow the people that's pushing the money to the wrong people. That's where we've gone wrong. People talk, follow the money. You'll find the answers. No, we need to find out who pushed that money to the wrong people. Who pushed the money out of East Tampa? Who pushed the money out of West Tampa? Who is giving all of, because the law says in Hillsborough County in this ordinance and in its charter, both city and county, that all of the districts, 7 on city and 7 on county, are supposed to be seamless, which means that you're supposed to drive through an area of town and you're not supposed to know which district that you're in. But it always seems to, when you're on city council, you drive through District 5, you in the poor area of town. And if you're on the board of county commissioner and Commissioner Gwen Myers, you in the Black District 3 area. It's not supposed to be that way. And I'm tired of our money being pushed away from us. And we need to start getting the right people at the right place at the right time. You don't think it was by design that I told you, Walter, after a person finishes probation, they can become an elected official. I'm grooming you. You don't even know it. We have a hand raised on Zoom. Miss Garcia, you have your hand raised?
Take your time.
She's from California.
Okay. And he's still going.
I'm sorry?
And he's still going.
Yes, he's still there. And he's been there for 4 years.
Well, let me stop you there, Ms. Garcia. First of all, you could definitely Facebook me and we could definitely talk about that offline. But let me tell you this, and I could just see it now. I respect you for being a mom and being there for him. Because, when any man who is listening to this show or any woman or parent has listening to this show and their son caught time, anytime, a day in there is time to me, that they can't get back, they need to be able to hold on to something and to know that you can be there for him, to support them, to encourage him. He needs that, and I respect you for that. I know those days get hard. I know your heart is heavy at night when you lay down, but to know that he has his mama to be there with him, his soldier, I respect you above all. And while I was on the topic of this, I definitely had to say this, Michelle, because I don't know how much time we're running out, but I definitely want to say this to all the listeners and people who've tuned in for Facebook and people who've tuned in for the Zoom, that 2023, it's about women empowerment. Because there are so many women out there that are holding it down, that are doing everything right, that are working hard, trying to get ahead, and there's nothing more amazing for me to watch than when a woman has everything put together and she's doing exactly what she needs to do to be successful or trying to be successful. You may not have it right now, but you might have the mentality right now to be successful. And I just want to say to all the women out there that I'm proud of you. You guys don't get a chance to hear it enough. So many times guys want to just talk to you a certain way or come at you a certain way or try to finesse you out of certain things. But You know, you guys out there, you women out there need to be praised for being the queens that you are, for doing the right things.
Well, thank you, honey.
For
Thank you.
holding it down. And they don't hear it enough. They don't hear it enough. I mean, listen, listen, if I show y'all my Facebook right now, it'll blow up. And, you know, there's a couple of dudes out there, but it's the truth. Women don't get a chance to be told that you're awesome. Women don't get a chance to be told enough that you're beautiful. Women don't get told enough that you are doing everything right, and I'm so proud of you. And I just want to make it my mission today to let you guys know where I stand at. That women who are out there that are working hard, that are trying to bring change, that are supporting their family, they're being the glue to everything that is going around in their circle of life, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, and I mean that from my heart. That, you know, I know what it's like to have a mother who held things down for me. I know what it's like to have good women in my life who can do the right things and inspire me to be great. Because behind every great man, it's a great woman in some type of capacity pushing that man to be great. But there's also a woman that's great too. And for all the women out there that work, that take care of their children, that pay all their bills, you know, I just want to let y'all know that I'm proud of y'all. I mean that.
Well, we thank you so
I
much
mean
for
that.
We don't hear it enough.
Don't hear it enough.
We don't hear it. But, you know, well, I'm single. So, you know, I hear it from my son because, you know, I hear it from my son all the time how he appreciates me and everything. But, see, I was raised in a two-parent household. So, and I seen the way love is supposed to be. And the way love is supposed to look like. You know what I'm saying? If my mom and dad ever had an argument, we didn't know about it.
Okay.
Because they was either outside in the back of the field or they was behind closed doors and we was asleep. So we ain't never even know. I ain't never seen no black eyes on my mama.
Okay.
I never seen a few knots on top of my dead head. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying, you know, Pops, you know what I'm saying? Pops, you know, my daddy is a good man to my mama.
Yeah, we need to get back. We need to get back to the time where the slow jams were being played and the dancing was going on in the living room.
You better come on that.
That's what I want. That's what I want to start seeing. I mean, call me old school, but that's what I want. Cut them slow jams on and let's dance a little bit in this living room and let me tell you how sweet you are.
I'm trying to told you. I seen that, you know, to keep my uncles out of the streets, that's what my grandfather did. Right there in Progress Village. He had house parties. He took their carport and turned it into a den. We call it a den. And that's where all the dances used to be held. And they would be barbecuing. And I'm like, we had 79th Street in Progress Village lit.
I'm going to tell you like this. I got two left feet, but you put them slow jams on? Listen, I'll handle my business. So, guys, again, I have really enjoyed this.
And I'm going to cut the show a few minutes early. And we're so thankful to the station owner, Mr. Daryl Johnson and Tampa Bay Tammy. And you can tune in every day, guys. Let me tell you something. If y'all just want some all-out gospel music, honey, y'all need to tune in tomorrow on the website, intouchnews.com, baby. They gospel thing be on point. I be round in the house to my Holy Ghost, okay? You gotta just listen to the shows. It's a beautiful lineup. And once you visit the website, you'll be able to see the show's times, about the hosts of the shows, what the shows are about. Just give us another week or so. You'll see me in Walter's bios and everything that we stand for and what we represent in the community. And I just want to say, if any of you guys need to reach out to Walter or myself, feel free to get a hold of us at our community number, 813-857-8170. I'm not going to overwhelm you all. I'm just going to ask you all to follow us on our Stay Woke Facebook page. This is where Walter and I are going to be, we're going to be putting information, community events that are going to be coming up, because guess what? The reason why they keep catching us is because we sleep at the wheel.
Woo. Stay woke. We always sleeping. We got to wake up. And when you wake up, y'all know I want to see y'all. You know, when I came in, Mr. Darryl said, you can't use Stay Woke. No, because y'all know how I used to bring it in 2018. Boy, I came in with Childish Gambino. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. They gon', you know what I'm saying? They gonna always find us because they know we always sleeping. I thank you all so much for tuning in to Stay Woke with Dr. Michelle Williams and Walter Dunn, and I appreciate y'all time too. We definitely gonna look forward to being on the air every week. We're definitely gonna fight for real change. We want to take real questions, real problems, and bring solution, and that's what we stand for. Stay woke. Thank you, guys. Listen up. Stay woke.
Dr. Michelle Williams Show. You gotta stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. You gotta stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. You gotta stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. To Dr. Michelle Williams Show. You gotta stay woke.
Jazz at Miss Connie's house is brought to you by Ray Williams Funeral Home, providing the highest quality, professional, and caring service for your family. Call Jeffrey Rhodes at 813-253-3419. That's 813-253-3419.